Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Aeon Flux. It's a movie starring Charlize Theron. So, as always, I'm going to give it the good, the bad, and the furry. To start off the furry, there's a bee that makes in my opinion, an unnecessary appearance that, according to the trivia, was just a reference to the comic book cover or image or something. I don't know. It felt dumb and unnecessary. There's probably another bee somewhere. Anyway, moving on to the good and the bad. So let me just start off by saying that this movie, it's okay. The first time I watched this movie, I hated it. I think because I went in there with such high expectations because of how whatever trailers I had been watching that I thought that it was going to be a very different type of movie. And then the execution of it I thought was pretty lacking. But I've watched it a couple times since then, over the years, and I'm going to give it an okay. Like, not 2 thumbs up, but like, thumbs up, I guess, if you like that type of movie. What I will say is that this movie kind of reminds me of, like, Gattaca and Ultraviolet and some other futuristic-y type movies, but especially Ultraviolet. But, not as good. Definitely less of a stylization to how the like overlay or filters or whatever you will than Ultraviolet, but still same type of very unique technology. So essentially, and they kind of go over this in the opening scroll, but basically the technology is so advanced that now, you can walk around in something like this and have a whole repertoire of things and stuff either in your body or around you or just, that take up little, like, tiny bits of space to be able to do technology things that, you gotta watch it to understand that the technology that they show, I think, could theoretically happen. I think how they present it is interesting, and maybe the first time through I didn't really understand the radio transmission pill, but I think going through and rewatching it, I get what it is doing, and it's an interesting take on how to have, real-time conversations with people in a society that has such good tracking and monitoring of all of its citizens. So I think that's interesting, and the surrounding characters, some of them are interesting. I don't think that anybody falls flat on their face into a pile of bladed needles, but I don't think anybody does that with their acting. It's just that it's so much, very much an Aeon Flux film, so a Charlize Theron film, that a lot of the other characters don't get as much time to breathe. And even I think the first time watching through, I didn't really understand the time jump, if you will, for her. Like, I think that the first little bit until the thing happens that you'll probably realize once you watch it, I think that was supposed to be set, a year ago or something, but they don't do a good job of delineating that time jump between when that happened or here, or that maybe this is now and she's just thinking back about this happening. There wasn't a good way of how they shot it or overlaid it or filtered it or whatever else to show that was a flashback or do a thing to show the time has passed until much later on, where I was like, oh, that's how long that was supposed to be? Okay. But I do think that some of the technology concepts in this, while very foreign to how I think that current technology would progress, based on the fact that, 99% of people die because of a vaccine that goes wrong, or I'm sorry, because of a virus that goes wrong, and then, people get a vaccine to survive it, sure, whatever. But I think that it's plausible that if you have that dramatic a shift of population and then this long of a time frame, I think it was supposed to be 500 years or something, I think that long of a time frame, that I could see that, having sort of the technology level that we do, it could go in that direction. This isn't the most amazing of ones. I think some of the fight scenes are cut a little too heavily. I know that Charlize Theron is a very physical actor and that she can do a lot of these things. I think in the trivia, I want to say she got injured on this one or something. I'm not sure. But I think that, especially during the gunfights, I think that there's way too many cuts, and it stretches believability in this realm. And then there's a couple times like when her and her buddy are running through that one place, and her buddy does the thing that takes out a whole bunch of the things. Why didn't she continue doing that? And I don't know. It just seems like they could have done a bit more to make that less dangerous. But yeah, so overall, it's okay. I think that this is a movie where you'll probably appreciate it more the second or third time you watch it, at least the second time, because once you understand everything that's going on, it becomes much more interesting, all these different character interactions that you see once you understand what has happened, and go back and rewatch it from that perspective. But at the same time, I understand maybe not rewatching this movie, or a lot of people just not watching it at all. But it is an interesting take on a possible future. Like I said in the beginning, I think it's based off of some comic. I've never read the comic. I don't intend to. And as always, I think that movies should be able to stand on their own and not rely on your knowledge of an outside thing. So I've never read Aeon Flux, the comic. I don't think I should have to in order to appreciate and watch this movie. Now, it's great to have little bits for the people who have read the comic, but it needs to be in such a way that it works for this. And in this, the eye-catching bee thing, that's the way that you want to catch the bee. Like, that's the way. And then also, I think it's supposed to. I'm hoping that it was supposed to highlight how fast of her reaction time is, but then later on in the movie, it's like, well, where's bee catching eye reaction time for this? You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's a bit uneven in its tone and its execution, but it is very beautiful, and I think that in terms of stylization of the costumes, of the technology, of the environments, the set pieces, I think that all of those were all in the same movie. Like, those were all pointing in the same direction, going in the same way, all had the same idea. But I think that there was a lot that takes a while to really appreciate. So, like I said, second or third time watching through, you might appreciate it more. Totally understand skipping it. But overall, I'd give it a very, very soft thumbs up this time around. First time around that I watched it, maybe just time has changed me, but it was a huge thumbs down. So, somewhat action movie, but also somewhat philosophical, thinking about, I don't know, free will, maybe? Self-determination? Sticking it to the man? I don't know. There's some layers to this, but they don't do the best job of exploring those. So, anywho, have you seen it? Do you think it's the best movie ever? Is this one of your favorite movies? Let me know why in the comments down below. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you at the next one. Bye.